This video, I'm going to be breaking down a new way to play defense in Madden 25, utilizing the crossfire pressures from Dollar as well as some other things. But what makes this defense special is really the coverage behind what we're going to be doing and how you're going to use or within this defense. So this defense is really kind of especially plays off of the KOs that you have access to in Ultimate Team now. But in general, this defense is going to probably get you a lot of stops and confuse a lot of people. Now, if you guys want to get the full version of this defense, this Dollar Jets defensive ebook revamp, that's going to be available in our school community. I'll put a link to that in the description below. It's only $10 to become a member, and it gets you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks, both for Madden and for College Football 25. So if you want to be a member, that link is going to be down in the description. Now we're going to be taking a look here specifically at a couple popular formations. We're going to look at normal wide close, and we're going to look at trips tight end flex as well. But we're going to start with normal Y off close because that is probably the most popular offense that you're going to see, or doubles flex close, which is very similar to that. And the biggest thing that we're going to do, and we're going to have our Tampa 2 here in our audibles, and we're going to have the cover 4 drop, cover 4 quarters, DB fire 2. Now, the best way to do this is to utilize auto flip off, auto alignment on base, option defense on conservative, and then you're going to put your hooks on 5. Now, the other thing about this little defensive strategy here is you are going to be situationally flipping your double safety go for the different coverages because you need to get the different pressures. What you can do is you can actually flip it at the line of scrimmage. So I'll kind of explain that. So if you want everything to look the same, you're going to need to flip this at the line of scrimmage after you audible. So let me just explain that. So if I come out in double safety go and I audible to Tampa 2, you're going to see that my blitzer is not on the right spot. But if I audible to cover 4 quarters, then my blitzer is on the right spot and I can just drag him over like this. What I want you to do though is once you drag him over like this, if I flip the play, you see that nobody moves. That is like super, super important to how we're going to run this defense. And my general recommendation is actually to flip your double safety go. And I'm going to show you one little thing that this is going to do that's going to make this significantly better. So when you flip your double safety go, what that typically is going to do is it's going to take this safety on the right side and it's going to put him in the best position, in my opinion, to be able to defend the tight end out of normal eye of close, as well as the tight end out of trip side and flex. So it puts the safety more inside the box, more inside leverage, and it actually puts this guy in a better position as well. So my base defense typically is going to be flipping double safety go like this, and then I'm going to do one of two things. I'm either going to run cover 4 or cover 2, but we're going to make some cool adjustments as well. Now, if I want to run cover 2, the vulnerability with Tampa 2 is going to be the run defense aspect of it. We can kind of get around this, but I'm just going to go to a basic inside zone here to kind of explain this. So you see how I go to this basic inside zone? Now I needed to audible. They won't do that if I audible. But anyway, as you see here, I'm in Tampa 2. I go to this, and we're set up like so. So the way I want to run this defense is I want to stand back here. And so I just want to show you what will happen. If I see inside zone, I can kind of come downhill and blow the run up like that. So it's not the end of the world if they do run the ball, and you're going to be okay, right? If at the end of the day, if you're getting like just absolutely shredded in the run game, go to the cover 4 quarters, and then you're just going to go to the cover 4 quarters. You're going to stand more out here like this. If you're really getting shredded, you have to go to cover 4. You're not going to be able to run your cover 2 if you're getting shredded in the run. So it's kind of more of a down and distance thing. It starts to become that, where in running situations, you can run this cover 4. And then in passing, obviously, if we can tackle, in passing situations, you can run your other defense. The other thing that you have access to in this, I don't do this a lot, but you do have access to this cover 4 drop where we could run the engage blitz, which is basically to just simply set it up like this. And if you take a look here, I don't know why the player is glitching here, but he's blitzing. And then I'm just going to hover right here and send the engage pressure if I ever, get they're running too much play action or something like that. But what I really wanted to get into here, guys, is the coverage of this cover 2. So what we're going to do here is we're going to auto to Tampa 2. We're going to walk this guy over like this. This is going to set up the pressure. And then this is the key to everything. You're going to put your safeties in outside thirds and your user in a middle third. Now, the reason that I move my user back here is if you don't move your user back here, you are very susceptible to getting seam streaked because it's hard for the user, the way this game plays, it's hard for him to go all the way back and cover both sides. It's just almost impossible. Now, if you wanted to, you could get a little adjusty like this, for example, and you might be okay because you would be able to run like to this left seam. But I prefer to basically turn this into like a three high safety look in the sense of one, two, and then three safety, if you will. It's kind of like an Iowa State type defense. Um, Anyway, what we're going to be able to do with this is we're going to essentially use her in the middle of the field, and then if we see a streak on the field from the slot or the tight end, then we're going to switch stick onto the underneath. So let me just give you kind of a pretty popular route combination would be something like this. This is a pretty standard PA snag play. Now, the play action is going to neutralize the blitz, but you will still get sheds. And sometimes actually the blitz can come in on play action. But essentially, what I'm doing is I'm looking for the seam streak here. I identify it, and then I switch stick, and I want to break down like what is actually going on the field so that you can see why I think this coverage is really relevant right now, because this coverage takes away a lot of popular routes that people want to throw. It takes away corner routes, it takes away speed outs, it takes away return routes, it takes away zigs. It takes away a lot of these routes. So as you see here, at this point, you know, I'm reading this play and see, okay, he has a streak, so I'm gonna get off of this linebacker. At that point, I switch stick here. Now, this throw is definitely like you could potentially hit this throw, but with the KOs in the game right now, and if I was to switch stick here, this throw is a lot tighter of a window. Also, we're able to take away these underneath little kind of nitpicky routes that are super pesky. We don't have to switch stick on the drag here. I just think it's safe to consistently switch stick onto these vert hooks, and then from there, if I want to switch stick to the safety, I could do that as well. So you might say, okay, so what about like the cover two beaters that everybody runs, which would be something like wise sail, right, with these double fades or something like this. This would be an example of a really good cover two beater. So if I just leave this coverage, you know, like this deep half is going to consistently get just absolutely manipulated here. So we'll just hopefully get a little bit of time. Oh my gosh, I got yelled at. But as you saw there, like the fade on the right side is 100% getting open. Let me just spy this guy just to try to show you the coverage aspect of this defense. So, and I even back this guy off, right? I back off the safety. He's in a deep half. You'll see the deep half will just get absolutely shredded, right? I'll be able to throw. Wow, Mahomes, nice throw, buddy. I'll be able to throw one of those streaks, right? So you've seen that all year. Okay. So the beauty of the defense, in my opinion, is that it doesn't give stuff like that up, and it's still from a double safety walk down look. So this, I think, is the super big like secret sauce of this defense. Is these outside thirds will just run like sprint back. They're the only other zone in the game that does that. If you think about it, like an inside third is going to backpedal super slowly, deep halves backpedal super slowly, but these outside thirds from the safeties will actually get back pretty well. So again, my basic read here is I'm going to look for a streak. If I see a streak, then I'm going to instantly switch stick off. So you see here, I kind of read the play. Oh, it's YSL. I could even take this outside third and lurk right here. And as you see, this is basically perfect in terms of the coverage. Switch sticking to the vert hook, switch sticking to the outside third situationally based off the pattern distribution that you get from the routes. Super effective. Now, you might say, okay, well, what about, right? What about like cheat slot fade, right? Because cheat slot fade, this is like your standard cover two beater. Everybody runs this to some degree if they run this playbook. This is one of the best ways to attack cover two. It is one of the best ways to attack cover two in the game. But because again, we're using outside thirds, then now again, my user's here. I don't even need to switch stick off my user, and I'll show you why. because I see it's a slot fade. If I see it's a slot fade, it's not a seam streak. If there's no seam streak, I can now steal a guy in coverage here, and I want you to look at how well this outside third is going to play over here on this left hand side. So if you take a look here, watch this outside third. It's just going to absolutely that's Reed Blankenship outrunning Xavier Worthy, right? I mean, he just absolutely cages. And then again, because you don't have a seam streak threat here, now what you're able to do is you're able to steal a player underneath in coverage. This is essentially kind of more of a practical Madden version of Tampa 2, right? Zan made this defense popular several years ago. I think Skimbo actually runs a lot of this as well this year. But this has been a defense, a concept that has been popular in Madden for the last several years because of how good these outside thirds do on both sides of the ball. The main secret sauce to the defense is the middle third with the user in the middle. And why that makes it even better is because then you can now adapt your coverage. You can switch stick off. So that middle third is going to always be in an advantage. Essentially, you're becoming the middle third yourself, and then you're reading and reacting based off the pattern distribution, which I think is super interesting. And we really haven't seen a lot of people do that. Now, the other thing about this is, let's say that you start getting a lot of check down. Actually, you know what? I wanted to show you one other thing. Let's talk about cheat flat post. So cheat flat post, you might say, okay, this is going to be the play that's going to be hard to guard. And the reason that this play is going to be hard to guard is because we're going to put a deep fade or deep streak on that left side. And it's super, it's going to be hard for that guy to get back. Okay, so you might think that. But again, the outside third is the trick to everything. And then, like I said, I think putting your user back here really helps everything. If you try to stand down here like this, it's really easy for the tight end to just crucify you up the seam. The only thing I could really think of, and like this could work if you did that and then you ran like this, but I personally have just found a lot more success standing kind of back in this area of the field. Now, the beauty of this is, let me show you what's going to happen if we get cheat flat posts. With cheat flat posts, I'm the middle reader. I'm the middle of the field defender, right? There's nothing attacking me deep in the middle of the field in this example, but I want to show you how this outside third defends this deep fade. So you see here, I'm just going to bomb this up, and you might think, oh, this is going to be open. It's not at all, not even close. It's not going to work. You're going to get consistent coverage from these outside thirds. They're going to be able to get back, and they're going to be able to get into perfect position to play stuff. So let's say that someone is attacking you in the flat, though, and you want to kind of manipulate different things. One of the things that you can do, this is a situational adjustment I'll do, is I'll shade underneath. I'll play hard flats on both sides like this. This would be an example of something you might do if you think they're going to throw a quick flat on you within this defensive structure. The biggest thing here is you might think that this deep fade is going to be open. I promise you, these outside thirds, especially with the KOs, they're going to be able to play that. So like literally instantly throwing that, it's not going to work. So you can use those outside thirds situationally. The other thing that I really, really wanted to show you here, and again, I just love this defense. This has been one of my favorite defenses I've ever ran, just because the blitz aspect of it's not as good. I will say that, because you don't have the threat of the engage here. I'll show you some situational ways you can get that threat in just a minute. But the beauty of this is, that we're able to literally cover the majority of the field with this. So let's say that we got a route combination like this. This is kind of a standard speed out play, something like this. So what we would need to do in this case is we would need to switch stick onto either the outside third on the right or the vert hook, because we're going to have to get off of this user because he's going to have to go play the seam streak. So, again, if they were really pretty decent, be something like this. The cloud flat will cover this speed out, and then you're just going to take this vert hook and take that away like that. And as you see, that middle third, that pole runner, that middle third defender is going to do a really good job of, again, and this is specifically if we back him up to about 9 to 10 yards. If he's too far in the box, it's just not going to be that effective. Okay, because when you switch it off, he's going to slowly move back. So those are some of the different tricks of the trade. Now, the beauty of this is we can go to a cover 4 quarters look, flip the play, shade underneath, and now this looks exactly the same. Now, the reason that this is important, and you need to do this from time to time, is what eventually will start to happen is you'll get some kind of basically Y sail. This is really good for like a Y sail play. And the reason that this is so good is because we have hard flats now. And then watch what my user is able to do. I'm able to just come down like this. And then I can switch stick like so. It really is a great little compliment to what we're doing. Now, another thing that I wanted to show you, because if you are playing a defense or someone that's running a formation like this, you're going to get play action, and they're just going to basically pick up your blitz every time, and you still need to have some type of blitz threat. So what I'll do is if I'm getting a lot of play action, if that's like their main thing that they're doing, then I'll do something like this. This is pretty situational, but I'll back this guy up like so, and then if I hit circle twice, it's going to give me the slot corner. And essentially, I'm just going to run the engage D. So I would flip the play, whoops, like that, set that up like so. And then now I'm basically in the engage. I might have messed it up. And you could do this out of cover 4 drop as well. So I'll show you, cover 4 drop is a little easier to set it up. But situationally, I'll do something like that. So, again, so let's say cover 4 drop here, right? I'm normally going to move this guy over. So I'm going to move him over. I'm going to blitz him. I'm going to move him back like so. And then I'm going to put him in a hook curl to this left side. Hit circle like so. And then now, we're able. Whoops, I actually would probably do something like this. Now that I think about it. But anyway, this is just a way to, kind of counter what you're doing. And this is going to do really good at getting pressure against people if they run play action. So mixing that in a little bit. That's like very rare that I'll do that, but I will do that. Another thing you could do is you could go to DB Fire. And the beauty of DB Fire is basically now you're going to move this guy over like this. And it's essentially this right here. Like this is perfectly fine. And then if they run play action, DB Fire can sometimes come off the edge. So that's a way that you can kind of mix a DB Fire. Now you might be asking, as I did, when I was testing this defense out, what happens if they go to like a more spread out formation, like a trips tight end, if they start using stock fades and things like that. So let's take a look at that. So this is trips tight end, motion wide post. This is the play. And if people are getting a lot of cover 2, they're pretty much inevitably going to end up in this right here. So all we're going to do is our basic defense like so. And then what you're going to see here is, let's just do a double streak like this. So what I would basically do is I would switch stick in this example here. I would back him up, switch stick onto this third, user like this, and we'll just take a look at the routes. So as you can see here from the instant replay, what's basically going to happen is because you backed your user up to about 9-10 yards, he's going to be able to run once you switch off. So as you see, he switches off, he runs with him. And then this outside guy, as you see, he's just gonna sprint, and that's an easy deep out zone. That's an easy deep KO, right? Another thing you could do, again, situationally, you want to be a little safer against a trips tight end set. Call cover 4 quarters, move this guy over, flip the play. You see how it keeps your shaded down hard flats. And then now we can go back to more of a traditional trips defensive look, which would basically be something like this. And again, I gotta actually get to trips here. But you can see if we wanted to situationally do something like this, this would do a really good job against this route combo, because basically, all you need to do is switch stick onto the quarter and go user the tight end. So you see here, switch stick here, boom. And you see how, again, this idea of like this 3 high structure, it really does allow you to do a lot more with your coverage. This is just the tip of the iceberg that you can do. But I do think that, you still have the capability to do a Sim 4. Another thing that I, like I said, really, really like to do is I'll situationally, and trips tight end would be a formation I would do this against because cover 4 really is pretty decent against trips tight end this year, is I would move this guy over like this, right? Blitz him down, maybe. Okay, we're gonna blitz him down eventually, and then he's gonna go back like this. If I hit circle, then it's gonna put me onto one of these slot corners, and I can use them as an engage. So it looks exactly the same, right? In this case, we would maybe man up the running back with him or whatever, but we're able to drop all these guys into coverage. We do an engage defense, and then what you're gonna see is, situationally. Now, again, you're going to need to obviously know you're going to do that, set that up quickly, get on the slot corner, but you know, something little that you can really do. Again, the core thing you're going to do the majority of the game is you're going to be in this right here. You're going to be in this coverage right here, majority of the game. And then also situationally, you're going to go to this coverage right here, which looks exactly the same, but now it's cover four, right? And then if you wanted to occasionally mix in DB Fire, you can mix in some DB Fire setups. But in general, this just does a really good job. And then you're still going to get good sheds. So even if they pick up your blitz with play action, you're going to get pretty good sheds. The coverage is just absolutely incredible. So, anyways, I wanted to do kind of a deep dive into this defense because this is kind of my favorite defense that I've been running last couple of weeks here, and I just think that this defense is really, really effective. And it's kind of a new style. A lot of people, used to seeing like dollars down here, but by putting this guy in this position here, it really opens up the coverage, and then the outside thirds are just incredible because they're able to get back on both sides. Like I think that's just so like it's just so good. Motion angle wheel, another good play, right? You're gonna do just fine against that. So you see here the speed out, that cloud's gonna play it. So the ability to have cloud plots on both sides really does limit the areas in which they can throw the ball, and the ability to kind of have that middle third defender be more like a user allows you to, if they don't have a seam streak on both sides, or if they don't have a seam streak, then it really allows you to play more underneath for things like bench pivot, things like that. So those underneath combos. So anyway, that is the Tampa 3 defense that I've been talking about on X a lot. I think it's really good. And if you guys want to check out my completely revamped dollar defensive ebook, that is going to be available in our school community, and that link is going to be in the description below.